Are we ready? I'm so excited. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm finally doing a sit-down video again. I say this every time now, but I literally feel like it's been ages. So this is actually quite exciting and scary as well. Today I thought that I would do a this or that video. Bookish edition. A while back I actually tweeted out that I wanted to make a bookish this or that video and that I wanted comments, suggestions for this or that choices, and that you could be however creative you wanted to. And it's finally time for me to answer to these comments. I haven't looked at the comments since I got them, so I don't remember the questions that are being asked, so this will be quite fun. First we have Kevin, the lovely Kevin, who asked me a few this or that questions. The first one is male or female protagonist? I think, like, if I consider what I read the most, I do think it's female protagonists. I definitely read the most female authors, so I do think that sort of correlates. Or is the question, I'm already getting into the specifics and it's the first question, this is great. But is the question whether I prefer reading from the female or male perspective, or if I'm reading a book, no matter which perspective it's told from, is the question whether I usually prefer the male or female? Okay, these are two different questions actually. So if I'm reading the book from the perspective of either a male or female protagonist, I would say I usually prefer books where the story is being told from the female protagonist. But no matter what book I'm reading, I think I usually prefer the male protagonist in the story compared to the female protagonist, even though it's a female protagonist that tells the story. And I'm guessing it might have to do with like the female gaze, or it's the fact that it's males written by females, that sort of thing. But yeah, story-wise, male protagonist, perspective-wise, female protagonist. I made this question into two questions already. I'm doing great. Next question is hardback or paperback. I will let you guess my answer on this one and I'll give you 3 seconds. Obviously for me it's a paperback. I prefer paperbacks. I'm getting more into hardbacks, mainly because they look nice and usually they are special editions and stuff. But like for convenience, for comfort, for practicality, for price, paperbacks are superior. Next question from Kevin is tragic or happy ending? I enjoy both. I would like to say both, but honestly, if a book has a happy ending, that's just everything. Although I enjoy being crushed by a book. If all of my books were either to have only happy endings or only tragic endings, I would go for the happy endings. My main reason for reading is escapism, so yeah, I want the happy endings. And final question from Kevin is very short or very long? I think I'm actually gonna go with very long for this one. I feel like stories that are on the longer side, books that are on the longer side, they have just more time and I guess pages and word count to explore the world, the feelings, the characters, and to develop the story as well. I don't have the best luck with short stories, I feel like. Like, I've read multiple books that are over 500 pages long that I've given 5 stars. I don't think I read that many books that have less than 200 pages and that I've given 5 stars. So I think that speaks for itself. We then have Kirsty, who asked a few questions as well. Thank you so much for that. First, she asked plot-driven or character-driven stories. Once again, if you know me, you might know the answer to this one, but I am definitely someone who loves character-driven stories. There's just something about them. I love getting attached to characters and to get to know them and see them grow and develop and all of that. Between these two, definitely character-driven stories. We then have coffee or tea reading beverage. I'm a coffee drinker. I really love coffee. I can drink coffee whenever. So I can drink coffee quite late in the evening or even during the night. And that won't really affect me even though there's caffeine in it. Coffee, definitely. If I'm sick or if I'm cold or if I've had too much coffee that day already, I'll go for tea or hot chocolate. But amongst these two, definitely coffee. And then we have floppy or stiff. I love this question and there's only one correct answer to this one. And that is obviously floppy. A floppy paperback is everything. It's comfortable, it's nice, it does the sound whooshy thing that, yes. Floppy is the only answer. If your answer is stiff, I hope that is for something else in another context. If I could wink, I would wink, but I can't. My winks are like this. And then final question from Kirsty is duologies, trilogies, or quartets? I have not read that many quartets, and if I read them, or at least started them, I have not had the best luck with them. Duologies, I've only completed a few duologies. So like trilogies are the ones I've read, and I do think I prefer the typical classic trilogy setup of a series. It just works. You have the start, you have the middle, and you have the end. So you have, once again, enough time to explore everything compared to perhaps a duology when things might be a tad bit rushed, or perhaps the transition from the first book to the final book might be a bit weird sometimes. But then if you consider like quadrilogies or quartets or whatever I should call it, I feel like they might just be a bit messier in some ways because they have too much time to do things. Typical trilogy is, I love those. Those work great for me. Next we have Naomi, who asked a few questions as well. The first one is great overall book but bad ending, or a bad book overall but with a good ending. This one is difficult. I think my answer is gonna be that the book is great overall but the ending is bad. Because if a book is bad from the beginning and I don't enjoy it and only the end is good, first of all, chances are I won't even get to the end because I might never finish the book. And second of all, it might just make me upset. I feel like I've read books like those that are like bad and then something happens in the end and I'm like, whoa. Where did that come from? Why did you not show me this before? Like, sure, you can be disappointed when a good book has a bad ending. This opinion might differ from day to day, but today I'm gonna say good book, bad ending. Next question is reading only books from one of your favorite authors, for example, Fredrik Backman, or be able to read any book except from, for example, Fredrik Backman. So only reading books by your favorite author or never reading your favorite author, I think is basically the question. I would say never reading books by my favorite author, actually. There's so much to explore and to learn and to know through books from various authors. So only sticking with one author, even though it's your most favorite author and you know you're gonna love every single book, and perhaps that author will publish 20 books a year or something. Like, I don't know, I get so much out of reading a broad variety of books, and I don't really want to lose that. I love reading different genres and different authors and like finding books I love and finding books I hate and dislike. So I like that. So I'm actually gonna say never reading a book by my favorite author. We then have Lauren, who asked series or standalone. My answer for this one is definitely going to be series. I love me a good series. I get the time to explore the world. I get the time to get to know the characters. So definitely a series. Standalones are great, but I just love the idea of sticking around for a series and having like multiple books coming out and being excited about that. Grumpy or sunshine? I think grumpy. I don't know. There's just something fun with a grumpy character. Not if they're too grumpy, but like, yeah, it's intriguing. It's fun. Like, obviously the sunshines are the ones we want to protect. We want to be there for them. We want to embrace them. But like grumpy characters, they're just more intriguing usually in a story. I don't know, they get a bit more love from the author because they get a more developed storyline perhaps or things like that. Not always, I'm not saying always, but typically, or at least back in the day. And then final question from Lauren is watch the movie or read the book first? I'm gonna say read the book first. I've done both, and I don't mind reading a book after I've already seen the movie, but if I can, if I have the opportunity, if I have the will, I definitely prefer reading the book before watching the movie. And then Daniela asked a few questions, so we have funny or dream-like atmosphere. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with funny actually, because dream-like atmospheres are very hit or miss. Sometimes for me, they can be a bit too lyrical, too fluffy, too up in the air, too like up in the clouds, not really knowing what they're doing, and they can confuse me more and make me like a bit more upset actually, because I feel like it's too out there, it's too wild. While funny books, they're just funny. They will make me smile, they will make me happy. So yeah, funny atmosphere, I think. But like dream-like if it's done right. Next question from Daniela is everything gets sold versus a somewhat open ending. Once again, this is a conflicting one, because obviously we love when everything is wrapped up neatly in a bow and it looks nice. But I'm actually one of those people that don't mind an open ending. And this is something I realized even when I was a few years back watching a ton of TV shows and like K-dramas and stuff. I did not mind the open endings I did kind of like them sometimes. If I've read a series, I want everything to be wrapped up. Definitely, like all of it needs to be wrapped up. If it's a standalone, I don't think I mind an open ending. It says here somewhat open ending, so I'm gonna go with somewhat open ending. I like a bit of mystery. I like a bit of making my own assumptions about what happened in the end. So yeah, somewhat open ending. Final question, bigger or smaller TBR? I'm gonna go with bigger. The bigger the better. No, but like, I love having big TBRs actually. I think it's so much fun. I love the challenge. I don't usually do well when I had big TBRs. Usually I slump more if I have a big TBR, I feel like. So perhaps it's better for me to have smaller TBRs. But I love the look of a big TBR. I love making TBR videos with huge TBRs. I love the challenge and the idea of it. Next, Steph left me a this or that dilemma, and that is read only super hyped books forever or only read books no one on BookTube is talking about. This is also difficult. Either super hyped books or books that no one is talking about. I feel like so many of the books I've read and really enjoyed are books that have not really been hyped and are definitely underrated. I would never have read Assassin's Curse if I had only listened to booktubers, or Fredrik Backman. This one is difficult because I do get FOMO when people talk about things that I don't really know about. So I do usually want to read hyped books because they are hyped, and in many cases they are hyped for a reason. Like for example, I was very skeptical when picking up The Love Hypothesis, and I ended up loving it. Hyped books can definitely be good. I do feel like if we're speaking from a BookTube perspective, obviously you gain more views and perhaps subscribers if you're talking about hyped books instead of underrated, underhyped books. So like the smart answer would be hyped books, but I feel like there are so many hidden gems in underhyped books and I would love to highlight them a bit more. So I'm gonna go with underhyped books. So I only have I think 2 more questions, so let's do them. We have Cleo who asked, stuck in a cozy cabin for a month with only 1 book and no means of getting more, or babysitting a haunted house with an endless library but barely getting any sleep because of an incessant poltergeist. I love this question, by the way. This one is amazing. Stuck in a cozy cabin for 1 month with only 1 book, no way of getting another book, so no Kobo, no library, no nothing, or babysitting in a haunted house with an endless library, like imagine Beauty and the Beast or something, but not getting any sleep because of a incessant poltergeist. I have a few questions regarding this question. How long would I be in that haunted house? If it's also for a month, then no. If it's like for a weekend, a couple of days, or babysitting, how long do you babysit someone? Like between one evening and like a weekend or something like that, right? So 1 or 2 days. And like, I don't really care that much about sleep necessarily, so I don't mind if I can't sleep that well. At least if it's temporarily, like once again, 1 or 2 nights. So I don't think it's the actual lack of sleep that would be the issue or the babysitting part, but I think it's more the time. Like I would not want to be in a haunted house for longer than a weekend, if even that. While I would love to be in a cozy cabin for 1 month, I would not mind that. My answer is gonna be the cozy cabin with only 1 book. Hopefully it's either like a really long book, like we're talking Wheel of Time or something along those lines. Perhaps I could finally read the Iliad or War and Peace. I need 1 month at least to read that one. So yeah, if I have a really long book, that would be good. And then the final question from Nessa. Would you rather have someone spoil the ending of a book for you or have someone spoil a beloved character's death? It depends on, like, obviously sometimes the two are correlated. So like sometimes a book ends with someone dying. So that's sort of difficult to spoil. I've had a book's ending spoiled to me before and I did get annoyed. But I do think I would be more annoyed about a character's death. Okay, if you consider this. Sometimes when I read a book, I know that someone is gonna die. I don't know the circumstances, I don't necessarily know the character, like I don't know the details, but I know the book is gonna end, or that closer to the end of the book we will have a character death. That usually does not bother me to know that, but if I were to know in advance which character, I think I would be more upset. I would prefer to have the ending spoiled and keep the potential death of a character hidden. I like the suspense of knowing that something's gonna happen. Like, I've read multiple books where obviously people talk, they are like, oh, but halfway through something will happen that will mess you up. And that actually intrigues me. Like, I get excited about reaching that halfway point and see what's gonna happen, but I love trying to figure out, oh no, who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be this character, that character? Like, I'd rather have the book's ending spoiled and like know if they end up happy, sad, mad, bad, whatever, than having a especially beloved character's death spoiled. Mainly because I want to at least keep something sacred and hidden and secret and have that sort of play out and experience all of the emotions connected to that. So yeah, rather have the actual ending of a book spoiled than the death of a beloved character spoiled. So that was my bookish this or that video. Thank you to everyone that commented with a this or that dilemma. I really appreciated it. It meant a lot to have you help me out with this video, so thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I love when you get involved. If any of these questions stood out to you, I would love to know your answer for them, so please feel free to comment them and we can chat about the different dilemmas and the this or that things. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please take care and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after.